It's not a rumor. There's a copy of the letter. Yes. And he admitted it in the board meeting on Tuesday. He admitted it. So it's not a rumor. And that is scary. Because
what I say, there needs to be a limit on the dollar amount.
There's no limit. Like I told you, they passed a $25,000 special assessment. We had 2 months to pay it. I was going to have to remortgage my property. That's how HOAs have tremendous power. You have no idea how much power they have.
How do you get to 7 people, though? I mean, does the board?
Yeah, the board votes on it. They choose to. And I've talked to another reason. You're gonna vote for 3. This election is 3 people. Okay.
There's only 3 new people available.
There's 3 spots open.
There's 3 new people.
Yeah. Carl, Jean, and I are the 3 new people.
Would you suggest voting for those 3?
Yes.
Really?
I would get rid of your vice president and president right now.
Well, that's what my thought is. I mean, that was our.
And I'll tell you, Brenda Taylor and Lita Epstein both endorsed the 3 of us. And she's serving on the board with them.
We would like to know that.
Yes. Yeah, she is. And if you reach out to her, she'll tell you that.
Yeah, right.
She said people are calling her right now. But she, as of the board meeting, she has formally endorsed us. And honestly, I don't know if she'll stay on the board if they're reelected.
Well, I appreciate that you put stuff on next door because I saw that, which made me interested in talking to you. So I know that some of the board members can't do that, but that's what you're talking about.
Well, they can. They are allowed to talk about campaign issues. They are not allowed to talk about board issues. There's a difference. And so if they were to talk on next door, they would be perfectly within their rights and not doing anything wrong. Okay? So it's their choice.
There's just no way to know, when, like you said, there's
Right.
not many people in here. Most people are like, it doesn't matter.
And honestly, I would have rather you reach out and talk to people. I would have rather you call Lita. I would rather you call Brenda. You know what I'm saying? And go back and watch the meeting on Tuesday. Did you see the meeting?
I'm sick, and I also work full time. But yeah, I do listen to them, so I'm very well aware. This is why I came to your desk and not that one. I have no reason to talk to that person. I've already saw enough. And I work full time, so I can't.
I know a lot of people do, and that's another problem with committees, because committees, they only operate in the morning, and people who work can't even participate. So that's an issue.
Right, so you're losing a lot of talent.
A ton of talent. A ton of talent. So
Because like I said, I've served on an HOA, and my community loved me. So,
mine too.
yeah. But
And
like you said, it's all about communication. You gotta keep
everything is about communication. Everything. But I served on the committee. They forced me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He said in the meeting I broke it. I did not break it. That's not true. But I was offended, along with many other people who resigned in protest, that we're having to sign that. Why would I have to keep a secret from you? Don't know. Doesn't make sense. So
Well, it was very nice meeting.
thank you so much. Can I help you, sir?
Hi, thanks.
Hi.
I'm Steve Nelson. I was interacting
Oh,
with you
nice to
today
meet you.
online, yeah. So, yeah, I'm mainly interested. I know you're interested in transparency,
Yes.
which I am. What are your views on the club?
On the transfer of the amenities?
Yeah.
I agree with Lita Epstein that we need to form a committee right away. I believe that it should be made up of a wide variety of talents: real estate talent, appraisals, financing, legal. I believe that all of our committee meetings should be open, because committee meetings are held similar to a board meeting. So if they were open, you could come to the meeting, watch what business is happening, know what's going on with that committee, and have a chance to address the committee. None of that's happening now. None of it. So that's a main thing that I would want to change, and I would also want to expand the board to 7.
And so, if we took over from Taylor Morrison, would that include the golf clubs as well?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what they're doing.
Because I assume that those would be like profitable. So I wonder like how much money would
He said at the last 2 meetings, the golf clubs were not included.
Okay.
neither was the Welcome Center. Taylor Morrison
Quick,
was
who were the three you told me? You and
Carl?
Okay.
Where'd Carl go?
I got his thing.
Carl and Jean right over there.
Well, the reason they want to stay in the Welcome Center is because they can still keep their hands in here and make decisions for us.
Right.
And it's sort of like I tell my wife, I'm an old history teacher. 1874, no taxation without representation. We're getting taxed and we're getting fees from Taylor Morrison on people we don't elect and have no power over.
I mean,
That makes no sense.
my point of view, but now I don't like to say exactly how I feel because I don't have all the information. So it's very hard for me to say, yeah, let's do this, when I don't have all the
There's
information.
only a couple of people that know everything that's going
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
on. And
that's part of the problem.
unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to be the lawyers tell them not to say anything.
No, it's not.
But here I know this much. It's proven over the last 2 years the board is not as transparent as they can be.
I can say this with fact. I was told last February by an attorney that's involved in it that the board was negotiating with Taylor Morrison and not the trust. That was last February. They didn't announce till November that they were in negotiations with Taylor Morrison, and yet the letter was published yesterday when they wrote the letter in July. They had a meeting in April. All I said was at the meeting yesterday, why didn't you just come in April? You say it was April. Tell everybody, hey, Taylor Morrison's contacted us. We're going to sit down. They're going to give an offer, but we're not going to do anything until we come to you. Now you say, okay, you put a meeting agenda every month. Amenities. Hey, we sat down. They offered us $27 million. We thought that was too high based upon it, so we said no. Let everybody know. But why are you? A decision was made that no, we don't want to buy them at $27 million, and no resident of this complex even knew that was offered.
Well, what I've talked about with Lita is, what I think we should do is, we should have a committee first.
I agree.
And every quarter, that committee should do a special informational meeting in the evenings when everyone can come, including the people working, and they can ask the committee what the progress is, you know, all the information, because at some point, even though we don't legally have a right to a vote, if I were on the board, I would not make that decision without a vote
See,
of
that's what
the
I'm saying. They've
people.
already said they do not have to have the membership vote. They can do it.
That's what
They don't, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
I agree.
Ethically, you should.
Yeah, well,
Ethically.
exactly. That's right.
And I would 100%, and I will tell you, I've talked to the other candidates about these issues, okay? Lita Epstein is full on board
Right.
with everything.
Right.
Jean is on board with transparency. You know,
But that's it. And
it's
that's-
not like nobody wants it.
And guys, we're going to own the amenities. We're not going to have a choice. We're going to get the amenities. It's just a matter of what price.
And we have to, or else our property values are going in the toilet.
But let me share something. One of these candidates said to me, quote, I'm not going to tell you who, said to me a month ago at a dance, there's going to be a war in SoliVita over the next year between the two groups of people. Those of us with being here 20 years that's willing to pay anything we have to keep the lifestyle that we have, and those who can't afford it, and they're going to have to move out. And I said, do you understand when 20% of the homes go for sale in here, what it's going to do to property value?
Well, I don't know how they can say people that have been here 20 years feel that way. Lita Epstein's been here 20 years. She feels the opposite.
I'm just saying that a candidate, and I said, what are you talking? I said, some of us that bought in the new areas, we bought in. I don't want another $50 a month, $600 a year, right? And then you're talking about the overall running. I mean,
But here's the one thing you got to remember. Okay, when we're talking about what we're buying, whether we're buying the golf courses, whether we're buying, we have revenue streams. Okay, we have revenue streams. Right now, what you're going to see is Taylor Morrison is making changes to our rules. Did you realize that if the club were to go use mosaics and have a potluck, they can no longer do that unless they get a $5,000 deposit?
Right.
Did you know that?
No food.
Why don't you know that? Why aren't we told that? You know why? Because they've jacked up all of our catering prices, okay? They are creating revenue streams so that their books look good, so they can charge us more money.
And every year they have the right to charge us club fees and increase, and you have no say-so, and the board has no say-so. They're going to get their $32 million back from that lawsuit, people. It's just a matter of how. So yesterday at the board, I stood up and said, the answer is you got to get them out. We got to get them out as soon as
We
we
do.
can.
We do.
At the lowest
But we
price
got to
we
do it
can.
smart.
Right. At
And
the
we
lowest
also got to
price.
do it. We also have to do it with the backing of our entire community.
Yes. Yes.
Because if the people aren't behind it, you all have to agree. We have to have some votes. Do we want to buy it all? This is what it would cost us. Do we want to buy this portion? This is what it would cost us. We have to put together different packages, present it to everyone, and then after everyone's had a chance to find out everything, then we put it to a vote, and then the board goes from there. If I was on the board, I would listen to my neighbors, because I'm not going to make that kind of decision for 11,000 people. It's not right. It's just not. So, but yeah, we are going to have to do something because it's going to affect our property values if we don't.
I understand that you're not allowed to bring food now to these things because
Exactly.
They want you to buy their
competition
catering.
or the
But they're not
Mosaics
open.
and Bistro, and they're closed.
Yeah.
Options are they're hardly.
And they're only going to get worse.
And you're right.
They're treating us like little kids.
Yeah.
But my problem is, with all due respect for our board, okay, I have a lot of respect for our board, but I'm one of these people, I've owned many businesses, I don't know it all. I hire good people and I trust them. That's what I do. That's why I say our committees are essential to our community. But if we're not involved in our committees, what good does it do? 8 months ago, I wrote emails to every single board member because of what happened with landscaping. I begged them to hold an expo in the ballroom like we do with clubs and get volunteers to serve on our committees. Nope. Can I hold an open call to ask people, we need this, we need, nope. Because the only way you get on a committee in SoliVita is if you're invited by a board member. That's a fact.
Well, yesterday, if you were at the meeting, one of the board members asked for a committee of residents to sit in on the negotiations, the amenities, and they shut that down as it's too early. It's too early. And I got up and said, wait a minute. You're saying it's too early. You've already had a bid. You turned it down and didn't let anybody know. How is that too early?
Well, if you read the letter that was written, in the letter, they talk about a timeline.
Yeah.
A timeline of when we can sue. Okay, so now you just told us there's a timeline.
So what happens before that time?
Right.
What happened before that? You get to that timeline.
But we need to put together committees and then open them up so that if you want to know what's going on or you want a question, you have it. That's transparency and that's communication, period.
When do you envision a timeline taking place, given just where we are right now with the unknown? I guess. I mean, when do you begin negotiating?
Well, part of it goes by the legal fight. So they already ruled against us and said in 2018 that we do not own those amenities. They are owned by Taylor Morrison. So the only option we have at this point is to appeal that. Okay? We don't have an appeal filed right now.
So we can't even begin to think about negotiations until the legal process.
We should not.
Should not.
But the legal process hasn't started. We have to go through the appeal. So we should have a committee, and our plaintiffs that are in the legal part should be on that committee. You should be able to ask. They should be giving us at least quarterly updates, right? So that we know that timeline. But I'm like you. You know as much as I do. The only thing I know is what I hear in meetings and what I see. When I write emails, I don't get answers. Trust me. I've written a lot of emails and I get no answers. It's crickets. So.
How many seats are open? Is it 2 or 3?
3.
Oh, it is 3.
Because Marie Suppe resigned.
Yeah,
and they never replaced her.
That's why I thought Carl Warren would be put in. And
The board didn't want to do it.
yeah.
They want to keep it small.
Well, I asked him. I asked him that question. I said, "I voted for you, and since you had the most votes, after
Yeah,
after
he would have been
everybody
the
else,
logical choice.
he would have been the logical choice." I said, "Would you piss off on the board?" And he wouldn't answer the question because he said, "I might have to work with him," which is true.
Unfortunately, I'm Irish and outspoken. I'm not that good at it.
No, I've been reading you on Nextdoor, so yeah, I've been impressed. and I cannot stand the current president. I can tolerate Jim, but and we know Glenn fairly well, but you know.